tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. So continuing selected readings on contentment. I'll start with Buddhadhamma, Phra Payutto, page 1272, the dual freedom of the Sangha. The monastic community, the Sangha, acts as an exemplar to people for a life relying in the least degree on material things, or for a life with the greatest degree of freedom from material things. This life is connected to the wider society in the following ways. First, the monastic life provides an opportunity for monks to live a life of simplicity. Second, this life allows monastics to fully devote their time and energy to Dhamma-related activities without needing to get caught up in seeking material possessions. Third, this life urges monastics to be easy to support by recognizing that they do not earn a living by themselves and are dependent on the lay community. And fourth, the monastic community, by not seeking recompense for its labor in the usual sense of market exchange, is as free as possible from the control and influence by the mainstream social and political system in which it finds itself. All monastics, regardless of whether they are enlightened or not, are bound by the principle of living primarily for truth and keeping their material needs to a minimum. The Buddha did not intend for lay people to live monastic or austere lives, nor did he wish for everyone to be ordained as a monastic. It is a natural, causal truth that at any one time, different people abide at different stages of spiritual development, and that they will have varying needs and desires. Even the majority of stream enterers, or at least a large percentage of them, live at home with their families. The Buddha's intention in this respect was most likely to establish an independent community within the wider society, in order to act as a balance in the domain of righteousness and truth, to sustain the principles of truth within society, and to provide an escape from the controlling influence of society for those people who both desired and were prepared for such freedom. This community exists both in physical form and as an ideal. The independent community as a physical entity is the Bhikkhu Sangha, sometimes referred to as the conventional Sangha or the Sammati Sangha, which exists alongside and is yet free from the wider lay community. The independent community as an ideal is the community of true disciples, Savaka Sangha, sometimes referred to as the noble community, the Arya Sangha, which exists alongside yet apart from the wider community of unawakened beings. The gist of this principle is that a model society is not one in which everyone is the same. Such a society is impossible to accomplish, but rather is one in which all members, although they may differ in individual circumstances, are devoted to spiritual growth, live together in concord, and strive for the same goal. Such a model provides a wholesome alternative to those people who no longer wish to live within the confines of the wider society. Even in the future era of Maitreya Buddha, during which time supposedly everyone is equal, there will be an independent community of monastics. The legend has it that in the future Buddha, Maitreya Buddha, the whole world will be Buddhist. So, but he's making the point that even there will be a lay community and a Sangha. In regard to the Bhikkhu Sangha, for the monks to dwell in and to maintain such independence, they must have a way of life that relies little on material things. Moreover, they must possess the mental qualities that are favorable to such a way of life. An important quality the Buddha emphasized for the bhikkhus and for all renunciates is contentment, santosa, which enables one to live simply and to experience joy independent of material things. The monks need not expend time, effort, and attention on acquiring material things. Instead, they can fully devote their time, determined effort, and attention to their spiritual practice in order to achieve wisdom and freedom of mind. The principles of contentment and delight in practice are embodied by the Buddha's teachings of the fourfold traditional practice of the noble ones, the Aryavamsa, the four principles of the noble lineage. The bhikkhus follow a simple lifestyle and do not engage in arts and sciences in order to earn a living. By relying on an ancient tradition, they subsist on the four requisites offered by the lay community. At the same time, they have no right to solicit food or the other requisites. For this reason, they should make themselves easy to support and content with little, and conform to the four principles of the noble lineage of the Aryavamsa. So now I'll read from Anguttara Nikaya, Book of the Fours, the Noble Lineage. I'll read two suttas that are back to back. The first one is Book of the Fours, Sutta 27, Contentment, and then Sutta 28, which goes into the Four Noble Lineages that Phra Payutto is speaking of. This is page 414. Bhikkhus, there are these four trifles, easily gained and blameless. What for? 1. A rag robe is a trifle among robes, easily gained and blameless. 2. A lump of alms food is a trifle among meals, easily gained and blameless. 3. The foot of a tree is a trifle among lodgings, easily gained and blameless. 4. Putrid urine is a trifle among medicines, easily gained and blameless. These are the four trifles, easily gained and blameless. When a bhikkhu is satisfied with what is trifling and easily gained, I say that he has one of the factors of the ascetic life. When one is content with what is blameless, trifling and easily gained, when one's mind is not distressed because of a lodging, robe, drink, and food, one is not hindered anywhere. These qualities, rightly said to conform to the ascetic life, are acquired by a bhikkhu who is content and heedful. And Book of the Four, Sutta 28, Noble Lineages. Bhikkhus, there are these four noble lineages, primal, of long-standing, traditional, ancient, unadulterated, and never before adulterated, which are not being adulterated and will not be adulterated, which are not repudiated by wise ascetics and Brahmins. What for? 1. Here a bhikkhu is content with any kind of robe, and he speaks in praise of contentment with any kind of robe, and he does not engage in a wrong search in what is improper for the sake of a robe. If he does not get a robe, he is not agitated, and if he gets one, he uses it without being tied to it, infatuated with it, and blindly absorbed in it, seeing the danger in it and understanding the escape from it. Yet he does not extol himself or disparage others because of this. Any bhikkhu who is skillful in this, diligent, clearly comprehending, and ever mindful, is said to be standing in an ancient, primal, noble lineage. 2. Again, a bhikkhu is content with any kind of alms food, and he speaks in praise of contentment with any kind of alms food, and he does not engage in a wrong search in what is improper for the sake of alms food. If he does not get alms food, he is not agitated, and if he gets some, he uses it without being tied to it, infatuated with it, and blindly absorbed in it, seeing the danger in it and understanding the escape from it. Yet he does not extol himself or disparage others because of this. Any bhikkhu who is skillful in this, diligent, clearly comprehending, and ever mindful, is said to be standing in an ancient, primal, noble lineage. 3. Again, a bhikkhu is content with any kind of lodging, and he speaks in praise of contentment with any kind of lodging, and he does not engage in a wrong search in what is improper for the sake of a lodging. If he does not get a lodging, he is not agitated, and if he gets it, he uses it without being tied to it, infatuated with it, and blindly absorbed in it, seeing the danger in it and understanding the escape from it. Yet he does not extol himself or disparage others because of this. Any bhikkhu who is skillful in this, diligent, clearly comprehending, and ever mindful, is said to be standing in an ancient, primal, noble lineage. 4. Again, a bhikkhu finds delight in development, is delighted with development, finds delight in abandoning, is delighted with abandoning. Yet he does not extol himself or disparage others because of this. Any bhikkhu who is skillful in this, diligent, clearly comprehending, and ever mindful, is said to be standing in an ancient, primal, noble lineage. These bhikkhus are the 4 noble lineages: primal, of long standing, traditional, ancient, unadulterated, and never before adulterated, which are not being adulterated and will not be adulterated, which are not repudiated by wise ascetics and Brahmins. Bhikkhus, when a bhikkhu possesses these 4 noble lineages, if he dwells in the east, he vanquishes discontent. Discontent does not vanquish him. If he dwells in the west, he vanquishes discontent. Discontent does not vanquish him. If he dwells in the north, he vanquishes discontent. Discontent does not vanquish him. If he dwells in the south, he vanquishes discontent. Discontent does not vanquish him. For what reason? Because he is a steadfast one who vanquishes discontent and delight. And there's verses. Discontent does not vanquish the steadfast one, for the steadfast one is not vanquished by discontent. The steadfast one vanquishes discontent, for the steadfast one is a vanquisher of discontent. Who can obstruct the dispeller who has discarded all kama? Who is fit to blame one who is like a coin of refined gold? Even the devas praise such a one. By Brahma too he is praised. And I'll read a sutta from Anguttara Nikaya, Book of the Tens, Sutta 17, page 1355. It's called Protector. Bhikkhus live under a protector, not without a protector. One without a protector lives in suffering. There are these 10 qualities that serve as a protector. What 10? 1. Here a bhikkhu is virtuous. He dwells restrained by the patimokkha, possessed of good conduct and resort, seeing danger in minute faults. Having undertaken the training rules, he trains in them. Such a bhikkhu is virtuous, trains in them. This is a quality that serves as a protector. 2. Again, a bhikkhu has learned much, remembers what he has learned, and accumulates what he has learned. Those teachings that are good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end, with the right meaning and phrasing, which proclaim the perfectly complete and pure spiritual life. Such teachings as these he has learned much of, retained in mind, recited verbally, investigated mentally, and penetrated well by view. Such a bhikkhu has learned much and penetrated well by view. This, too, is a quality that serves as a protector. 3. Again, a bhikkhu has good friends, good companions, good comrades. Since a bhikkhu has good friends, good companions, good comrades, this, too, is a quality that serves as a protector. 4. Again, a bhikkhu is easy to correct and possesses qualities that make him easy to correct. He is patient and receives instruction respectfully. Since a bhikkhu is easy to correct and receives instruction respectfully, this too is a quality that serves as a protector. 5. Again, a bhikkhu is skillful and diligent in attending to the diverse chores that are to be done for his fellow monks. He possesses sound judgment about them in order to carry out and arrange them properly. Since a bhikkhu is skillful and diligent, this too is a quality that serves as a protector. 6. Again, a bhikkhu loves the Dhamma and is pleasing in his assertions, filled with a lofty joy pertaining to the Dhamma and discipline. Since a bhikkhu loves the Dhamma, this too is a quality that serves as a protector. 7. Again, a bhikkhu has aroused energy for the abandoning of unwholesome qualities and acquiring wholesome qualities. He is strong, firm in exertion, not casting off the duty of cultivating wholesome qualities. Since a bhikkhu has aroused energy, not casting off the duty of cultivating wholesome qualities, this too is a quality that serves as a protector. 8. Again, a bhikkhu is content with any kind of robe, alms food, lodging, and medicines, and provisions for the sick. Since a bhikkhu is content with any kind of requisites, this too is a quality that serves as a protector. 9. Again, a bhikkhu is mindful, possessing supreme mindfulness and alertness, one who remembers and recollects what was done and said long ago. Since a bhikkhu is mindful and recollects what was done and said long ago, this too is a quality that serves as a protector. 10. Again, a bhikkhu is wise. He possesses the wisdom that discerns arising and passing away, which is noble and penetrative, and leads to the complete destruction of suffering. Since a bhikkhu is wise, this too is a quality that serves as a protector. Bhikkhus live under a protector, not without a protector. One without a protector lives in suffering. These are the 10 qualities that serve as a protector. And then I'll read the Buddha's advice to Nalika, which is from the Sutta Nipata, and with this particular sutta, I prefer Ajahn Jeff's translation. So this is Ajahn Jeff's translation of Sutta Nipata, and it's the great chapter, Sutta 11, so I guess it's classed as Sutta Nipata 3:11, and it's page 147 of this translation. Asita the seer, in his midday meditation, saw the group of 30, Sakka the king, and the devas dressed in pure white, exultant, ecstatic, holding up banners, cheering wildly. And on seeing the devas so joyful and happy, having paid his respects, he said, "Why is the deva community so wildly elated? Why are they holding up banners and waving them around? Even after the war with the Asuras, when victory was the devas, the Asuras defeated, even then there was nothing hair-raising like this. Seeing what marvel are the devas so joyful? They whistle, they sing, play music, clap their hands, dance. So I ask you, who live on Mount Meru's summit, please dispel my doubt quickly, dear sirs." They answer, "The Bodhisatta, the foremost jewel, unequaled, has been born for welfare and happiness in the human world, in a town in the Sakyan countryside, Lumbini. That's why we're contented, so wildly elated. He, the highest of all beings, the ultimate person, a bull among men, highest of all people, will set turning the wheel of Dhamma in the forest named after the seers, like a strong, roaring lion, the conqueror of beasts." Hearing these words, Asita quickly descended from heaven and went to Suddhodana's dwelling. There, taking a seat, he said to the Sakyans, "Where is the prince? I too want to see him." The Sakyans then showed to the seer named Asita their son, the prince, like gold aglow, burnished by a most skillful smith in the mouth of the furnace, blazing with glory, flawless in color. On seeing the prince blazing like flame, pure like the bowl of the stars, going across the sky, the burning sun, released from the clouds of autumn, he was exultant, filled with abundant rapture. The devas held in the sky a many-spoked sunshade of 1,000 circles. Gold-handled whisks waved up and down, but those holding the whisks and the sunshade couldn't be seen. The matted-haired seer, named Dark Splendor, seeing the boy like an ornament of gold on the red woolen blanket, a white sunshade held over his head, received him, joyful in mind and pleased. And on receiving the bowl of the Sakyans, longingly, the master of mantras and signs exclaimed with a confident mind, "This one is unsurpassed, the highest of the biped race." Then, foreseeing his own imminent departure, he, dejected, shed tears. On seeing him weeping, the Sakyans asked, But surely there will be no danger for the prince? On seeing the Sakyan's concern, he replied, I foresee for the prince no harm, nor will there be any danger for him. This one's not insignificant, be assured. This prince will touch the ultimate self-awakening. He, seeing the utmost purity, will set rolling the wheel of Dhamma through sympathy for the welfare of many. His holy life will spread far and wide. But as for me, my life here has no long remainder. My death will take place before then. I won't get to hear the Dhamma of this one with the peerless roll. That's why I'm stricken, afflicted, and pained. He, having brought the Sakyan's abundant rapture, the follower of the holy life, left the inner chamber, and out of sympathy for his nephew, urged him on toward the Dhamma of the one with the peerless roll. When you hear from another the word awakened one, or attaining self-awakening, he lays open the path of the Dhamma. Go there and, asking him yourself, follow the Holy One. Follow the holy life under that blessed one. Instructed by the one whose mind was set on his benefit, such, seeing in the future the utmost purity, Nalaka, who had laid up a store of merit, awaited the victor expectantly, guarding his senses. So Asita the seer uttered predictions about the newborn Bodhisattva prince, and his nephew is named Nalaka, and because Asita is going to pass away before the Dhamma wheel gets set rolling, he instructs his nephew Nalaka to await the time that the Buddha starts teaching and then go to him and receive instruction. Nalaka, who had laid up a store of merit, awaited the victor expectantly, guarding his senses. On hearing word of the victor's turning of the foremost wheel, he saw the bull among seers. Confident, he asked the foremost sage about the utmost sagacity. Now that Asita's forecast had come to pass. Nalaka, now that I know Asita's words to be true, I ask you, Gotama, you who have gone to beyond all dhammas. I'm intent on the homeless life. I long for the alms round. Tell me, sage, when asked, the highest state of sagacity. The Buddha. I'll teach you a sagacity, hard to do, hard to master. Come now, I'll tell you, be steadfast, be firm. Practice even-mindedness, for in a village there's praise and abuse. Ward off any flaw in the heart. Go about calmed and not haughty. High and low, things will come up like fire flames in a forest. Abstaining from sexual intercourse, abandoning various sensual pleasures, be unopposed, unattached to beings moving and still. As I am, so are these. As are these, so am I. Drawing the parallel to yourself, neither kill nor get others to kill. Abandoning the wants and greed where people run-of-the-mill are stuck. Practice with vision and cross over this hell. Stomach not full, moderate in food, modest, not being greedy, always not hungering for wants. One without hunger is one who's unbound. Having gone on his alms round, the sage should then go to the forest, approaching the root of a tree, taking a seat. The enlightened one, intent on meditation, should find delight in the forest, should practice meditation at the foot of a tree, attaining his own satisfaction. Then at the end of the night, he should go to the village, not delighting in an invitation or gift from the village. Having gone to the village, the sage should not go forcing his way among families. Cutting off chatter, he shouldn't utter a scheming word. I got something, that's fine. I got nothing, that too is good. Being such with regard to both, he returns to the very same tree. Wandering with his bowl in hand, not dumb, but seemingly dumb, he shouldn't despise a piddling gift, nor disparage the giver. High and low are the practices proclaimed by the contemplative. They don't go twice to the further shore. This unbinding isn't sensed only once. In one who has no attachment, the monk who has cut the stream, abandoning what is and isn't a duty, no fever is found. I'll teach you sagacity's edge. Pressing tongue against palate, restrain your stomach. Neither be lazy in mind, nor have many thoughts. Be free of raw stench. independent, having the holy life as your aim. Trained in solitude and the contemplative's task, solitude is called sagacity. Alone, you truly delight and shine in the 10 directions. On hearing the fame of the enlightened, those who practice meditation, relinquishing sensuality, my disciple should foster all the more shame and conviction. Know from the rivers in clefts and in crevices, those in small channels flow noisily, the great flow silent. Whatever is deficient makes noise, whatever is full is quiet. The fool is like a half-empty pot, one who is wise a full lake. A contemplative who speaks a great deal, endowed with meaning, knowing he teaches the Dhamma, knowing he speaks a great deal, but he who knowing is restrained, knowing doesn't speak a great deal, he is a sage worthy of sagehood. He is a sage, his sagehood attained. That's some of my favorite, all-time favorite verses in the Sutta Nipata and the verses Tanalika. And also because I like the style of the Sutta Nipata in general, highly recommend reading it. It's the oldest of all the recorded Buddhist teachings. It's of all the Nikayas, it's apparently the oldest. So it's a very slightly different feel. Questions or comments?
Do any Ajahns have any thoughts on Phra Payutto, Buddhadhamma? The statement that most, or I don't know what it was exactly, most or a great majority of stream enterers are still live at home, which I took to mean lay people.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of different than what we usually hear about attainment.
There is a sutta where the Buddha lists numbers of stream enterers and so on, and I believe it's like he lists his monastic stream enterers and his lay disciple stream enterers, and I think the lay disciples are more in that sutta. I think that's probably what he's quoting.
Oh, so you think he was referring more to the time of the Buddha than the present? Or?
He's probably referring to one of these suttas, but there was no note on it or anything. So, but
that would be my guess as well. It's a guess, but I've never heard otherwise. That conventional wisdom would be that probably, it's certainly the monastic life is certainly more conducive to noble attainments, just because of the separation from the stimulation of the world, the draw of the world, is a primary factor. But, you didn't say that, so I don't know.
Well, he doesn't say unequivocally that more of them are lay people, but he says, I can't find it now.
I can't remember it as, he says, majority or at least a great percentage.
Oh yeah. Even the majority of stream enterers, or at least a large percentage of them, live at home with their families.
Yeah. Where he would make that determination from, it's hard to know.
And Phra Payutto, is pretty good with the suttas. So, but I do remember a sutta where the Buddha lists, and particularly with stream enterers, like there's more. He lists that there's higher numbers of lay people than monks, but with the other ones, I think that the monks are higher. It's just with the stream enterers. I can't remember which sutta that is.
Also, just practically, since the opportunities for ordination are, not as available for women in many cases, spiritually gifted women may, not always have the opportunity to ordain, even if they have the merit, the force to realize the Dhamma. So that's just a reality.
Suttas, are there any examples of was under the impression like most, I know all people who attain full awakening in the suttas end up going forth or getting killed by a runaway cow or something, die or go forth, but I was under the impression that might be the same with anagamis and sakadagamis as well. I'm not sure if there are examples of lay people that don't go forth, that stay in the household life after achieving up to anagami.
The potter.
It's interesting because anagami you'd have given up lust and ill will as well, right?
Yeah, but that I mean that just requires celibacy. It doesn't require actually going for it. There's lots of examples, even in this very monastery of
Panchakanda.
yeah, or even 8 preceptors who Panchakanda. You were talking about the.
I'm talking about people who are non-returners.
Yeah, non-returners. Yeah, but
Lay
but people who are just brahmacharya. That would be the only. People who follow 8 precepts would be the requirement for, I think, or at least 5 precepts anyway. 5 precepts with celibacy, because what's his name? Godikara, the potter. He still earned a livelihood, but practiced celibacy.
And it kind of makes sense that statement of Phra Payutto in terms of the suttas, because usually bhikkhus who attain streametry in the suttas then go successively higher than that. Whereas there's many examples in the suttas of lay people, like Mahanama is a good example of someone who was a streamenter or layperson, or Lady Visakha. They were streamenters, and then they just stayed at that level.
Going back to time, this supposed question that there is a sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya, I think, and it might be what Ajahn Nyaniko was referring to, or somebody asked the Buddha if if there are lay people who are established in stream entry, and the Buddha told me yes, a lot, and they're already established in Sakakami and in Anagami as well. It goes up to Anagami, says, oh yeah, there's a lot of stream enters, a lot of once-returners, and then non-returners, and he says, yeah, there's a lot of all of those of lay people. However, he does not give numbers or say that there are more lay people than monks who are those things.
And in the modern context, in Burma, one of the very first lay Vipassana teachers was widely considered an Anagami. He was a student of Ledi Sayadaw and Sayataji.
In Burma, you come the extra in like a month.
Well, that there is a danger in terms of getting certificates and certifications and stuff. Yeah, it's in some circles.
This was the case with Sayagyi Ubakyan. They sort of had an honor roll, and there were so many teenage girls who were stream enterers that they had to reconsider whether this was actually realistic reporting or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one sect of Buddhism in Thailand where Dhammakaya. I guess it's okay to say it on the recording. Where if you have a nimitta of a silver Buddha in a bubble, then you've got noble attainments. And if it's this big, you're a streamenter. If it's this big, you're a sakadagami. If it's this big, you're an anagami. And that's not a joke. So if you report that, you get the certification.
Isn't it also dependent on the amount of donation you get?
That too, because it comes from the teaching, he who sees the Buddha sees the Dhamma. So it's like That's their interpretation.
Right.
But it has to be, it's very specific though, it has to be silver and in a bubble.
For like 100 baht a month, you can also reserve a plot in heaven. They had a campaign for a while like that.
We don't want to disparage too heavily other traditions, but this is one that I think is at least in our circles, uniformly recognized as not a good thing to follow.
It's good to know about these things as it highlights the dangers of
gain, honor, and fame,
and discontent, wanting status,
material gain.
I'd never heard the sutta that you read, Ajahn, before, from the Sutta Nipata. It's rare that you get, it's a totally different flavor than many of the suttas. And the mixture in the beginning of like really poetic language and then just practical advice at the end that's a powerful sutta.
Yeah, that I wasn't sure if I should read the beginning part because it's so kind of mythical and legendary, a seat of the seer, but it's kind of nice Buddhist, a nice piece of Buddhist literature, and but then the actual teaching of the Buddha to Nalika is very practical.
John, there's something you read. It said like complete is silent, and then the opposite of that. What was it?
Yeah, whatever is not full makes noise. Whatever is full is silent. The fool is like a half-empty pot. The wise like a full lake. And then it makes the difference. One thing I like too is it makes the difference at the end. Like it says, one who knows the Dhamma and speaks a great deal. So it's not that it's a bad thing. So it's like the Buddha's saying there's these two types of teachers. One who knows the Dhamma, speaks a great deal, but then he who knowing is restrained, knowing doesn't speak a great deal, he's the one the Buddha praises as the highest. I think of Longpa Liam whenever I read that. He's just silent most of the time, but just says things at the right time. And that sutta was given to Nalika 7 days after the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Nalika went to see him. He entered the Vasa at the deer park at Isipatana and was teaching the first 5 disciples, and that's where Nalika went to see him and received that brief teaching, then went and practiced in solitude. And we assume he attained arhatship fairly quickly.
Is that the same Nalika who had the parents in Nalika Pita, Nalika Mata?
Oh, that's Nakula.
Nakula.
Yeah, Nakula Mata, Nakula Pita.
Nakula, not
They're the ones who asked the Buddha,
Okay.
how can we be together as husband and wife in all of our future lives? And
Right. I got
so you have to keep similar Sila, Samadhi, and Panya.
my K's and L's mixed up.
But Nalika, it's not said really I don't think it's said what he attained. I have to read the whole commentary. Bhikkhu Bodhi's Sutta Nipata with commentary contains the commentary to that sutta, and it's very interesting. I only read the beginning of it, but it probably gives a lot more information, the backstory.